For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond. Our leadership in science and industry, our hopes for peace and security, our obligations to ourselves as well as others, all require us to make this effort, to solve these mysteries, to solve them for the good of all men. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
On October 4th, 1957, in the midst of the Cold War, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik into space, the first man-made satellite to be put into orbit. Space was seen as the next frontier in the battle between capitalism and communism. The U.S. immediately intensified its space program, but the Soviets still managed to put the first person into space, Yuri Gagarin, in April 1961. Less than a month later, Alan Shepard became the first American to go into space. That month, President John F. Kennedy announced that the United States would put a man on the moon before the end of the decade. A critical leader for the program was director Bob Gilruth, who encouraged independent work among the technicians and scientists working for him.
There are thousands of people working on this. How do you keep everything running smoothly?
I trust the scientists and engineers here at NASA to get the work done. They all work independently for the most part.
Who are some of the people doing this work?
One very important member of our team is a recent graduate of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Margaret Hamilton. To make this mission work, we need an onboard flight software system that did not exist in 1961. Her team is working on developing it.
Okay.
Ms. Hamilton, how is the software development going?
Our goal is to make an ultra-reliable system. We're extremely careful. Everything is debugged and tested before assembly. And we simulate every situation we can think of to test the software.
Cool. What's it like working for Bob Gilruth?
We're extremely lucky. We've been given total freedom for our work. 3 minutes before the Eagle landed, her software overrode a manual command that could have jeopardized the entire mission. No bug occurred in any Apollo mission.
Apollo 11 was launched July 16, 1969. On July 20th, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins landed on the moon at 4:18 p.m. It was almost 11 p.m. before Neil Armstrong took the first step on the lunar surface. Over 500 million people watched on TV. Aldrin described the moon's surface as magnificent desolation. They left on the moon an American flag, a patch honoring the Apollo 1 crew, and a plaque on lunar module Eagle's leg. It read, "Here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind." 4 days later, the crew splashed down near Hawaii.
The Apollo program began with the goal of landing on the moon. NASA's budget increased 500% in 3 years, and over 400,000 people were involved in the program. The first manned Apollo flight was the Apollo 1, but it never took off because of a fire that broke out on January 27, 1967. All 3 astronauts inside died. Later Apollo missions 7, 8, and 9 and 10 were all in preparation for the lunar landing. They orbited around the moon and tested equipment.
The United States effectively won the 12-year space race. There were 6 total successful lunar landing missions, with 12 Americans walking on the moon. In the 3 years after Apollo 11, the USSR made 4 failed attempts to launch their own lunar landing craft. Astronauts came to be seen as heroes by Americans, especially through TV. In 1975, Soviet and American spacecraft shared a handshake in space that symbolized the eventual improvement of U.S.-Soviet relations.